Welcome back everyone. So you're going to get a bit of everything today. Story time, a bit of property, a bit of politics, a bit of philosophy, all wrapped into one. What more could you ask for? So I'm out and about in a beautiful part of Spain called Finestrat. It's actually about 15 minutes from where I live these days, and about the same 15 minutes or so outside of Benidorm. Now there is a lot of building work going on here, a hell of a lot, and I'm going to show you around today. I'm going to get the drone out as well. And this is one of my favourite places for walking around at night with the dog, or just having a little ride out. Now last night I was riding right where I am right now, and there's a lot of wild cats here, a lot of wild cats. And they're not particularly friendly. They don't really get involved with humans. They don't really interact with humans at all. And I was here last night, and I saw a very young adult who was just sitting in the middle of the road. So I stopped and called it over, and sure enough, it came running over and ended up sitting on my lap. And then blow me, his brother came along, or his sister, I don't know what they are. And they sat on my lap as well, even let me pick them up, which is more than unusual for wild cats. As this was taking place, the mum suddenly appeared, giving her two children a very disapproving look, as to say, what are you doing interacting with that horrible human being? She wasn't happy, but so I went all the way back home. My wife had a freshly cooked chicken in the fridge, and took them back a lovely meal, and they thoroughly enjoyed it. I was hoping I might be able to see them, but I reckon they're probably sleeping during the day and come out at night. This is Finestrat karting centre. So these are like where they get the go-karts out. It's brilliant. Gonna have a go soon, and get that on camera, that's for sure. Fancy bit of Jensen Button around the old track there. But this area of the Benidorm region, it's actually the Alicante region, is very expensive and very highly sought after. And the properties here for a sort of nice apartment range from about, I would imagine, 350,000 for a small apartment, up to a couple of million, depending on what you want to buy. I was hoping to see them cats, but I reckon they're fast asleep. Maybe I'll pop back later, see if I can try and find them again. But a very, very nice area. And lots of building going on. As you might be able to see, or you might not be able to see in the camera, I'm not sure, but the one criticism I would have with a lot of areas is the amount of rubbish that's left around. Quite sad, really. But it's a small price to pay for the tranquility, the peace, the excellent roads. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull up here, I'm going to get the drone out and let you have a little look around the area. See what you think. that gives you a little idea what it's like from above. Helps if you charge the bloody drone battery, doesn't it, before you come out. I forgot to charge the battery, but there you go, a little look round. So what we're going to do now is we're going to have a little look round at some of the properties that they're building here. I find them really, really interesting. Now what you've got here, you've got a mixture mostly of British, Dutch, Belgians, Germans, Russians. I'll say probably mostly, there's a lot of Dutch here, a lot of Dutch. Now these villas that I'm passing on the left and the right, the ones on the right are probably at the lower end. The ones on the left are going to be more expensive, they're bigger. Whilst I drive into a different area, we'll also talk about His Lordship, Keir Starmer, who looks to be in trouble, doesn't it? It looks like his own MPs are slowly but surely turning against him. And can you wonder why? Hola. The man is an absolute nightmare. People are very friendly, I've got to say. Now this place here, this building on the corner, let me just turn around a minute. We actually looked at this about a year ago. This place on the corner here, we looked at this villa thinking that we might be able to afford to potentially buy it one day. Let me drive down again, see if I can give you a better look. And we was initially told that it was 750,000 euros, which was a bit above what we wanted to pay, because we've obviously got property back in the UK as well. But then we actually found out that it's actually well over 1.5 million. Let me get my iPhone out and you'll get a slightly better view. Now that's a big villa. There's a basement there as well, so the living accommodation's going to go under there. You've got the garage. So you've got, with the basement, you've got 1, 2, 3, 4, at least 4 floors, maybe even 5, I'm not sure. So going back to Keir Starmer, looks like he's in big trouble with his own MPs and party members. There is quite a lot of conjecture that he could well be on his way out. But I have to say, is that a good thing? What we really want is for Labour to be allowed to continue to make such a mess of everything that ultimately we get a general election rather than a leadership election or a leadership change. And of course, you get rid of one tyrant and who would be in charge? The one and only Angela Raynor. It don't bear thinking about, does it? This is another property that we looked at coming up now. Campana Gardens, Finestrat. We looked at this property on the corner. That is the show house there. Again, we was looking to potentially buy it. Not that property, but one of the others that are still being built. You can see them. I think there's some are finished, some aren't. But these are worth looking at. These were around the, I think they were around the 800,000 mark. Great views right across Benidorm. The only downside is on the other side of the road, they're going to be building there as well one day. That is one of the downsides to buying new properties in this area. Pretty cool though, aren't they? They've all got pools, of course. Oddly enough, although they're quite big, the Spanish are not massive on bedrooms. Unless you're spending €1 million, everything is 2 or 3 bedroom. These will all be 3 bedroom places. But they're not big on, 4 or 5 bedroom places, which is obviously different at home. You get a lot of 4, even 5 bed places. The place we left in Brighton was 5 bed. These are just being built. Security guard there locking up by the looks of it. So what they got? They got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 or 9 that are on the go. These will probably be ready. Well, I don't know, the way they work out here, probably won't be ready till next year. In the UK, they'd be up and sold in 3 months. But they do tend to take their time with a lot of stuff. But these are big plots. See, there's the sort of size of the plot over there. It looks like there might be another one on the corner as well. Let's have a little look. Yeah, they're going to build, they've got an access road there at the moment, but that's going to be a big villa on the corner there. These are going to be expensive as well. But it very much reminds me of Florida around there, in many respects. Let's show you the, let's get up onto the main road. And you'll see what I mean. But they're almost certainly going to be building here for a fairly long time. I would think another 4 or 5 years probably. But this is the up and coming area, and it's where everyone wants to live. If you look at these, look at this Mirador Hills. Now, these are apartments, very nice apartments. Again, they'll all have pools, private security. They look beautiful at night as well, by the way. We've looked at a lot of property here over the last 2 or 3 years. Whenever we've come to Spain for a break, which you guys know we do, or we did fairly regularly. We made a habit of having a look round, see what the market was like, what was on offer, what we could get for our money. And the prices here have just gone up and up and up and up. So now these are really nice apartments. It might look a bit built up on the camera. And dare I say it, with all the building work going on, could even, potentially look a little bit scruffy, but actually it's not. You just realise that you are in the middle of an ongoing development. So those apartments, not sure what they would cost, probably 350, something like that. Euros. what you do have to remember is, unfortunately, you know, if anyone's out there thinking, oh, you know, yeah, €350, that's within my budget. Unfortunately, you've got, I think it's 12% tax on top of that, and some other fees. So basically, the way to look at it is, if you're looking at a property that's €350,000, the best thing to do is think, just convert it into pounds. It's £350, same thing, by the time you've paid your taxes and your dues. But let me show you around around here. This is why it reminds me of Florida. It's even called Avenue America. Palm trees everywhere. There's another development there. What's it called? Seascape. Private apartments. Private entrance, very nice. Private security at the gate there, though, if you saw that. And at night, when you drive around here, if you're looking a bit suspect and you appear to be sort of hanging around, you'll have a security guard pull up in a car and they'll very politely ask you what you're up to. Camporosso village. So there is millions and millions being pumped into this area. And the terrain is just exceptional. I mean, look at the state of the roads, look at the condition of the roads. Everywhere you go here, the condition of the roads is just fantastic. You know, you can play spot the pothole here. Back in the UK, it's spot the non-pothole, wasn't it? Spot the flat road. And all around this area, they're building villa after villa after villa. It's a very cosmopolitan little area. Remember, you're 15 minutes from Benidorm here. But really, to be honest, a different world. Look at that, the mountains out in front of us, look. Unfortunately, on the camera, it looks a lot further away than what it is. It's nowhere near as far as it looks on the camera, but I'm gonna have a little drive up there. I've said to my wife that I want to go trekking up there. I want to have a walk up to the top of that mountain. Whether I'd make it or not is another thing. The only sad part about all the building is that there is a lot of wildlife that lives in this terrain here, and obviously as the building takes place, they're going to get pushed out and moved on, which is pretty sad really. There's hundreds and hundreds of cats. That's it, up a one-way road the wrong way. But we'll get out onto the main road, hopefully in one piece. Yeah, just about made it. So there we go. We're now at the bottom of that mountain, or whatever you want to call it. It looks like a mountain to me. Look at that, absolutely beautiful. I should get the drone up there. When I got a full battery, I will. What a pillock. Fancy forgetting to charge the drone. So let's get across there and give you an idea of the sprawling scenery and the views. It's quite spectacular. Just up the road there's not one but 2 helicopter pads. There's a world-class golf course. You've got a number of really posh, fancy 5-star hotels. Like I said the other day, you know, you're 15 minutes outside Benidorm, and it's a bit of a, like I said the other day, a best kept secret really. People think of Benidorm as being a bit rough and ready. So that's Benidorm in the distance there. 15-minute ride in the car, same on the bike. And there's that beautiful mountain, and it just goes on for miles. Now, I'm going to be honest, a lot of people have been asking me about, you know, moving out to Spain, and not just Spain, but moving abroad in general. Is it cheaper than the UK? Well, that's a really tough question to answer. I mean, first of all, obviously it depends on where you want to live. If you want to live here, where I am now, then it ain't cheap. But there are obviously plenty of areas not far from here, especially when you go inland a little bit. The further you get away from the sea, the more realistic the prices become, and if you're prepared to go a little bit on the rural side and away from it all, which a lot of people really like, I do myself to many degrees, then yes, it can be considerably cheaper. You know, you could pick up a 3-4 bedroom villa with a pool and even an acre of land for 350 grand. The cost of living here, well look, you know, if you're a drinker and a smoker, you know, then yeah, it's cheaper. You know, packet of cigarettes, €6, bottle of wine in the supermarket, 150, £5 if you want something a little bit better. So if that, you know, if those things are your vices, then you're going to save money. In general, I would say, I think the supermarkets are actually quite expensive. I think pound for pound it's probably equally on par, if not a little bit more expensive here. And one thing that you will do is you will waste money on food that you just don't know what you're buying because you've never seen it before. Even if you recognise what it is on the packet, you're giving it a try for the first time, you don't know if you're going to like the taste of it. And I've probably, you know, we've probably spent, I don't know, since we've been here a couple of months now, 3 months, we've probably chucked £100 for food away that we've bought. And then when you open it and you go, oh, I don't like that. So, you know, there's that initial finding what you like and what you don't like. Of course, the other issue is, as well, you know, you're drinking a hell of a lot more. I mean, I'm drinking so much fluid that, you know, I've never drunk so much fluid in my life. I'm going through probably 2 or 3 litres of water a day. That's without the other drinks. I'm having tea, coffee, Coke, the odd shandy here and there. So your intake could well go up. The heat affects everyone differently, doesn't it? Some people eat more, some people eat less in the heat. We tend to find that we're actually eating and drinking more, to be fair. But it is a big move. I mean, you know, leaving the country that you love, everything that you're used to, everything that you know, different language, different culture. You know, I'll admit, I think I've probably sailed better than my wife, and we thought it would be the other way round. We thought that my wife would sail a lot easier than me. I'm loving the relaxed way of life. I'm loving not having all the absolute bullshit that we have at home round down my throat every day. My wife is not keen on the driving out here. It is predictably unpredictable. I think I said that the other day. I was sitting at a roundabout yesterday, and the cars are going round and roundabout like a Dodgems at the fair. And I've got some bloke behind me bibbing me up like he wants me to pull out. You know, I just looked at him and said, mate, what am I supposed to do? Pull out in front of a lorry that's coming round the roundabout? Behave yourself. You know, so the driving definitely takes a bit of getting used to. But having said that, the roads are in general much quieter. Far fewer cars on the road. You go on the motorways, the roads are almost like brand new everywhere. You know, when you're on a motorway in the UK and you hit a bit of motorway that's just been completed, and you get a couple of miles stretch where it's absolutely beautiful. You can barely hear the noise of the tyres on the pavement, on the tarmac. Most of the roads are like that here, especially the motorways. So there's been pluses, there's been minuses. Personally, you know, we had a chat last night, the wife and I, you know, how are we evaluating things? And she said that, you know, well, she said to me right from the very start, we both just want to live back at home. We both just want to live in the UK, in a country that we used to know, in a country that's free, where you're not fearing what you say, you're not in danger for having political views that don't necessarily tie in with the government's. In days gone by, that used to be called the opposition. Now it's called illegal. But it is what it is. Not much we can do about it, not for now. But we'll finish up on the politics. If we ever needed reminding of the importance to vote, if we ever needed reminding, who's to blame for where we are now? Well, who is to blame? Well, I blame the Tory government in many instances, because if they hadn't been so bloody useless for the last, 12, 14 years, this lot would never have got in power in the first place, but they did. So I blame the Tories, mostly. But of course, every individual person that just couldn't be bothered to get out and vote left the door open, didn't they? They left the door open. They left the back door open for what is, without a doubt, the most intimidating, the most frightening, the most inept, the most unfriendly, the most heartless, quite frankly, the craziest government that this country has ever seen. And that's not an exaggeration, is it? They are in a different league. And to think that it's very likely now that Angela Raynor could be our next Prime Minister. Boy, oh boy, oh boy. Who saw that one coming? And of course it will only get worse, because in a few months they'll kick her out as well, and then who's next? Sadiq Khan maybe? They can soon parachute him into some safe red wall seat where there's enough insane people to vote for him to get him in the Parliament as an MP, and then the big job is just a step away, isn't it? So before we get rid of this lot, before we're able to vote this lot out, we are going to have to hold our breath. Keir Starmer, Angela Raynor, what next? Jess Phillips, Shabana Mahmood, David Lammy. Who knows? Who knows with this lot? So the moral of the story is, make sure you vote, make sure you tell your friends they got to vote. And when the time comes, make sure that the thousands of peace-loving, patriotic, decent, honest British people that have been pretty much exiled from the country that they love can come home safely and carry on with their lives. Will that ever happen now? Or is it all just too late? I'll leave that one up to you. Hope you enjoyed that today, guys. A bit of a long one, but I love showing you around. Let me know what you think. If you like that, I could do a bit more. We can go into other areas. There are plenty of other areas around here that I can't wait to show you. But for now, this has been, I've got to be honest with you, this has been my favourite trip out on the bike. Right, we'll see you soon.